I'll try to be very quick and I'll try to share with you some practical cases. Those cases actually refer to me. Since I became ectasia magnet, I think I received so many cases with ectasia from my colleagues for second opinion, for treatment even. Let's start with the first case and let us think this is a keratoconus or not. Actually, this is a very steep cornea referred to me to treat as it was diagnosed as keratoconus. You can see that the Kmax is 50 diopters, and it is not that thin, but if you look at the tomography here, you can see that regularly arranged and thinning into the center of the cornea. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I hear you.
Sort of unstable connection or something. Okay, great.
Okay.
Analysis here. Yeah, okay. You can have a look on the holiday analysis, and you can hear the anterior elevation and posterior elevation plotted against the best fit ellipsoid, which is automated in this report. And you can see there is no ecstatic area in the central area, which makes you feel like it's ecstatic condition. And you can have a look on the topometric staging system here. Also, some abnormal indices. And here is a bad display. I know Renato would like to have a look on this, but it's above normal limits. And there is, of course, difference between diagnosing keratoconus and diagnosing surgery for a case or not. But what I mean here is this is not a keratoconus case. And here is the other eye showing the same thing with elevated and symmetrical astigmatic area, abnormal elevation, and normal topographic indices. Let us have a look on another case. This case was referred to me as keratoconus with for treatment. And you can have a look on this area, the steep area inferiorly located in the most suspicious area in the cornea with 49 diopters K readings, even with artificial intelligence here telling you that this is a keratoconus type 2. And this may answer the Ahmed Assad question to Renato, that if we have a look on this and just be blind and not look at the history or the clinical data, and you think this is a keratoconus even stage 2, and go ahead and treat it with cross-linking or even implanting intracorneal rings for this case. But let us have a look on the tomographic map, and you can see that the elevations and depressions are not related to the ecstatic area on the or the elevated area in the axial map. And you can see that even with the ecstatic area 49 diopters, there is no associated thing. There is no associated anterior or posterior elevation. And here is the clinical data, and here is the holiday report. And of course, it is suspicious. You can do LASIK for such a case, but let us have a look on the Science Loop images. You can see this bright area. This is simply a superficial scar in the cornea. And this superficial scar, we know it leads to some sort of depression. And this depression is superiorly. But because of the cornea is just continuous tissue, there is associated compensatory elevation, which can lead to misdiagnosed as keratoconus. Actually, you don't have to think such a scar. The scar is already cross-linked naturally. You don't have to cross-link such a case. You just follow it up. You do PTK, you can do whatever, contact lens. This is not a keratoconus. The machine failed to diagnose it as pseudokeratectasia. What about this case? This case is ectasia or not. This is a post-refractive surgery treatment. I used to present this case for a long K read very high. The steep K is 53 actually, and there is an area of elevation on the curvature map, and even reaches 54, for example. But this case is post-hyperopic LASIK treatment. Of course, you shouldn't reach this limit if you are going to treat hyperopia, but the surgeon did a hyperopic treatment for this patient and leads to a pseudokeratectasia like you have seen in this one. Let's have a look on an interesting case I presented last week. If this is ectasia or not, this is what we will decide here. A patient referred to me is a male patient, 38 years old, with blurred vision, post-LASIK, done 3.5 years ago. His vision is 20/40, corrected with -1.5 to 20/25 in the right eye. In left eye, he doesn't have astigmatism, just -1.25, correcting to 20/25. Let's have a look in his maps. There is an area elevated, inferior. Of course, you should be suspicious. This could be an ectasia. The surgeon who performed this case diagnosed it as post-LASIK ectasia and referred it to me. And here is the left eye showing similar image with 47.7 steep Kmax. And of course, the machine will be misled by the tomographic data here, the topographic data, sorry, and give you the impression that this is a keratoconus 1 or 2 staging, and the left eye showing also abnormalities. But let us have a look on the tomographic data. Again, the tomographic data showing there is no associated thinning in the elevated area. There is no associated elevations posteriorly in the elevated area in the axial map. If we have a look on the holiday reports, and of course it is fitted against pit-fit ellipsoid here. The anterior and posterior elevation doesn't show any abnormalities. And here is the left eye showing the same, and you can see the holiday report. The problem is sometimes you can't get the preoperative or the operative data. Sometimes it's hidden, sometimes you can't find it, sometimes it's hidden because of the medico-legal aspect, but I dig deep and I was lucky to find it. Here is the preoperative data and operative data of this patient. The patient was suffering from myopia and astigmatism, as you can see here in the right and left eye, and it's corrected to 0.8. This is the best corrected distant visual acuity, and you can see that the attempted refraction used by the surgeon is a little bit under correction, and he chose to use a narrow optical zone of 5.75 millimeter. Here is the pentacam preoperative. The cornea is originally steep cornea with regular astigmatism and no abnormalities in the anterior and posterior curvature maps, but relatively thin cornea for such refraction, especially when you are correcting high astigmatism. And here is the topometric indices, and here is the holiday formula showing holiday reports showing no abnormality in the anterior and posterior surface. And the Bellin-Ambrosio display can show some sort of higher D than normal. The normal D value is 1.6, and you can see it's a little bit high, but this is because of the initially steep cornea. And here is the left eye showing the same thing. So the cornea is originally steep. And another factor here, if you can have the printout of the machine after the treatment, you can see that there is some sort of superior decentration in the left eye, in the right eye, and abnormal ablation in the left eye. And this leads to decentration of the ablation done. One of the underutilized maps in the pentacam is the comparison map, and I like to use comparative maps, pre and post-operative. And you can see here, if you compare the pre-operative to the post-operative, you can see that the area that shows some elevations, it is related to the flap edge. Flap edge healing can give you some sort of elevation, like you can see here in the comparative map between the pre and post-operative. And also it can give you a clue that there is some sort of decentration. The decentration, and here is the comparison between the posterior elevation pre and post-operative. There is no posterior elevation occurred because of the operation. And here is the pachymetric comparison map between the two cases, and you can see the ablation is a little bit decentered superiorly in the right eye. And here is the left eye showing the same findings with a little bit of decentration also in the pachymetric comparison map. Pseudokeratectasia is not a new term. Actually, Jean et al. Reported this in the Journal of Cataract and Refractive Surgery 2005, reporting pseudokeratectasia after hyperopic LASIK, which was reported as a keratoconus-like topographic pattern in otherwise normal eye. In this case, I believe that the preoperative deep cornea and the decentered ablation plus the small optical zone and the flap edge effect gives you this false impression that it could be a mistake. The take-home message, tomography is more important than just looking at the topography. Tomography gives you the full picture, and preoperative data and difference map are valuable to take your decision. And please, finally, don't be judgmental when you look at the tomography. You should look at everything possible in your hand and get your conclusion. Thank you for your kind attention.